My dear brothers and sisters. This is Hakann speaking. I am the reptilian who has murdered millions in the past, who has since repented, and I am now working as a military advisor for the Galactic Confederation. When I was a teenager and young man, I was obsessed with external achievements. I wanted wealth. I wanted power. I wanted respect and fame. I wanted to have sex with multiple women, and I wanted those women to only have sex with me. Of course, I'm not suggesting that is reasonable, I'm just sharing how I used to be. Part of this came from the victimize or be victimized, swim or sink nature of reptilian society, and sure, I had been subjected to my share of trauma and abuse. Sure, it hurt less if I passed my pain on to others. At least, that made it hurt less in the immediate moment. But really, looking back, I think a huge part of this is a hollow emptiness, lurking at the edge of my awareness. I was only vaguely aware of this. Sometimes it would come up, when I relaxed with no external stimulation, or whenever I would walk the streets alone at night. And so I sought pleasure or external distractions. I always wanted to have music on, or something like that. Because really, why should we exist? Why go on? Why should we keep getting back up after being knocked down? Is it because if you work hard, you can create a life that has more pleasure than pain in it? Maybe? If we lie on our deathbed, is there an amount of pleasure and wealth and respect that we can achieve that will make us content with our life? If we have 500 orgasms and 2 houses, will that be enough to satisfy us on our deathbed? This sounds ridiculous if I write it out like this. But then why go on? As a teenager, I was certain that if I could just be in total control of one city and everyone living in it, that I would finally be happy. Then I achieved that goal. And I wasn't. Eventually I was the overseer of an entire planet. And I felt nothing. The only thing I remember thinking is, well, this task is done. At least I don't have to work at that anymore. But if reaching our successes are huge chores or tasks, and then at most we are only happy briefly, isn't that a fool's game? Aren't we being suckered by our egos? Aren't we trapped on a hedonistic treadmill, at the mercy of our own dopamine receptors? More questions than answers. Every additional step you take on the stairs towards so-called success, you realize you're still as far away from happiness as you were when you took the first step. Only now you're lonelier. Now you have to watch your back. Now you don't know if your friends actually like you, or if they're just trying to use you or get something from you. Then, after certain events, I became a member of the Galactic Confederation. And when I was just learning about this new way of life, I witnessed Galactic Confederation men who spent zero time trying to hoard wealth and power. In their life they hadn't even attained command of a small group of soldiers, hadn't even built a small harem. They didn't even have a personal slave. When they died, the history books wouldn't mention them. And yet, they were far happier than I had ever been. They were generous. They laughed, genuinely, instead of mockingly. Their humor didn't have an agenda, they didn't use quips to subtly tear other people down. Instead, they lifted others up. They spoke plainly. They didn't carefully try to only have regal and in control facial expressions. You didn't have to mind read them to know what they were thinking. And women loved them, even though they were not especially powerful or rich or handsome by the standards of their society. So, what was going on? I asked them what their ambition was, what their secret to happiness was, and their answers only confused and annoyed me further. Initially I was convinced that they were mocking me and were keeping their secret from me, but when they realized that I thought that, they invited me to read their mind and there was nothing there. They were happy, but there was no secret exercise or external attainment that gave them happiness. How? Initially I thought that they even lacked ambition, which in reptilian society is thought of as something basic, like the ability to be on time when you make an appointment. They didn't even have that. So they haven't even figured out ambition, almost the equivalent of how to tie their shoelaces. And yet these basic, average men were happy, and I wasn't. How? I'm not saying I'm proud of my past arrogance. But that is how I used to think. Then at some point, I finally figured it out. They were happy because they were part of something greater, and that thing was genuine and real, and it was a worthy cause. And they were actively contributing to that cause. Their cause was peace in the galaxy. But really, it turns out that it can be anything. If you are part of something greater than yourself, and that something is genuine and real and is a worthy cause, and you're contributing to that cause, then you will be happy. Something can be a worthy cause if you're pursuing something that genuinely helps and works for everyone, or is at least neutral for everyone. And this also means that you should take the concerns of those people on board who disagree with you, even if those people are so-called bad people, and not just hand-wave away their concerns or try to ram through your own viewpoint. I love the Earth concept that if something doesn't work for everyone, then it doesn't work at all. And when I started pursuing the idea of being part of and contributing towards a worthy movement, I realized that this wasn't just the key to happiness. It was also the key to achieving at least some level of self-esteem and self-love. Sure, it would be great if I could love myself unconditionally even without doing anything in the external world, but deep down, if I'm being honest, I just don't. I've never actually really been able to do that. And pretending doesn't help. However, being part of and contributing towards a worthy movement at least helps me achieve that a little bit. And when I look at Earth, I know I'm not the only one. Many people on Earth are unhappy, and are using the very ineffective strategy of, demand that other people change or do something, so that I can be happy. This can be politicians must implement my desired economic system, or people from the other political side must switch to my side, or other people must wake up, or the white hats, gray hats should start mass arrests, or roll out Jazara, or galactics need to help us more tangibly. And some of those things should happen, I agree. However, waiting for other people to do something doesn't bring happiness. It just puts you in an irritated and helpless mind state. If you can't control something, then it's best to just observe your own pain or frustration or fear with regards to that, and then go on to do something useful that is within your power to achieve. Also, if everyone wants other people to change, but few people actually want to change themselves or be the one to stand up and start working towards positive change, then not a lot happens. Everyone wants change, yet few people are willing to change themselves, or are willing to stand up and bring about change. So, if you want happiness and self-esteem, then be part of and contribute towards a worthy movement. Or at least, that's as close to the secret of happiness that I've been able to figure out. If there's a key to happiness that I'm missing, then please share it in the comments section. I'm all ears. Which is a weird Earth metaphor, but there you go. I would like to genuinely thank everyone who has been listening to these messages. You've brought me a degree of happiness and purpose, and I am forever grateful. Oh, and I'll share one more random thought that's been bothering me. Men's formal fashion on Earth is that they wear a tie around their neck. Which is basically a noose, right? As in, if you grab the knot of a man's tie and then twist, it's really easy to strangle someone. If I saw someone in reptilian society wearing a man's tie, then I would assume that he's a slave, and that his controllers either want to be able to kill him conveniently whenever desired, or his controllers are mocking him by making him wear a noose. And don't think that the now removed extraterrestrial beings who used to run Earth don't think in this way. Yes, I know that their human minions wear ties too, but that's just a sign that those humans too are either minions, or oblivious. If I lived on Earth, I wouldn't be wearing a noose around my neck. With that said, I feel exhausted. I'm ending the message. All my love. Arcock.